The reason I'm talking with you today is because I have had a recent question about listening to God and being and doing what He wants me to do. So I want to listen to my conscience. I want to listen to my inner self to do the right thing, to make the world a better place. And I was wondering about this. It finally came to me, but I want to illustrate this with an experience I had several years ago when I was in the frame of mind to help my community by providing free information, free health information, in hopes that it would disseminate to the rest of the community and also get people to be interested in health. I wanted to see that people empowered by the information that I would give them, and hopefully they would spread that information to their loved ones and to friends that they know. Because I actually saw that our community was just deteriorating, and I was just sad to see this happen. I was sad to see how, I guess, the unfortunate state of our community and of people in general with regard to their health especially. Well, anyway, my idea was to give health talks for free or close to free. And I recruited a friend who was interested in health at that time. But the funny thing was that after I recruited my friend and we started talking about this, all these other people came on board. She recruited her other friend, and then somehow we added 2 more individuals, one of whom they were all interested in health. They were either in the health field or they were in the periphery of health, maybe selling health products, maybe had health challenges in their lives. But anyway, we had this in common. We wanted to help people learn about health. So we decided to get together regularly and talk about what we should do. And my idea was to give health talks. And so we would discuss what we would talk about, where we would talk, and so on and so forth. But the first part of our meetings, usually the first hour or so, we would just talk freely about anything that came to mind, social topics. We actually had a great time together. It was very unusual. It felt magical. What happened to me and to the people I was with at that time was simply magical, because we clicked. We simply clicked with one another. We could talk with one another very easily. We had fun. We had great fun talking with one another. The words just flowed out of my mouth, but everyone had fun at that time. We also met regularly at a coffee shop. It was a cafe, it was a restaurant. But the owner himself wanted to help us if he could. He was eager to help us. And anyway, we gave one talk and only 2 people came. So I realized that the challenge of disseminating health information was much more than I thought. But it was a start, and I have a feeling that God was there helping us. He actually made things easier He made everything easier for us to be successful. He got us all together and we synergized. we didn't simply just work together, we synergized. And when I left, after being together for at least a few months, when I left to go overseas, the group that we formed just to disseminate health information fell apart, actually. This is really unfortunate. But, what I believe now was that not only did God help us, I believe that God will help us if we do the right thing, and if we feel it in our hearts to do the right thing, and we act on it. So in my heart at that time, I wanted to do the right thing it was in my heart actually to teach people. And God wanted us to help people. And so He made it happen much, much more easily. I can see that now. So recently, I had a question, like I said, about knowing what God wants us to do. I try to do some prayers, meditate on God, and I finally, I understand now that really that's all there is to it. It's actually what we see and feel in our heart is doing the right thing, is basically doing God's will. So if you have something that you want to do in your heart to make the world a better place, or to bring a bit of heaven to this dirty earth that we have here, if there is something that, like a vision that you have to improve this world, to improve this earth that we have together, that is a message from God, because that message came to you through your thoughts and through your feelings. And it is, if it's in alignment with improving the world, with bringing heaven to earth, then God will help you. God will do many things to help you to accomplish what you want to accomplish in your heart. But it has to be something that is actually in accordance with God's will and is in your heart. So God is actually constantly speaking to most of us. We often ignore what He says, and we often ignore what our conscience says. The conscience is basically from God. So if we listen to ourselves, if we listen to our heart, and listen to our conscience and allow that to guide us, we will gain God's favor. I believe that now. So listen, so basically pay attention to your heart. Pay attention to your conscience. Do you have any visions of a better world? And what can you do now to make a better world happen? So if you can answer that question, and if it aligns with your heart, you have God's favor behind you, and He will help you succeed at what you do. Well, thank you for listening to me, and I will talk with you again soon.